We've got our second race of the day here at Ascot coming up shortly, but now this really is perfect weather for yachting, and we're heading off to the seas now for the Ultra 30 series. Laurie Smith has been the champion 5 times, but his run was broken last year by Russell Peters. Well, going into the race at Cowes, Peters was leading, but just behind in second was Laurie Smith. To take us through the race, Helen Rollison.
Big issue, boat below you.
He's just dump it.
Dump it. You're not going to get in there. Okay, big issue. Big issue, boat below you. Going round again or what? They're all too early. No, Pete! Oh, come on! Why did you do that? Let's go back. We'll do a penalty. Might be a reach. Okay, tap in, guys. This is just my worst nightmare.
And this is Ultra 30 racing. It's about teamwork, coordinating decisions and intense competition. DBS, with helmsman Russell Peters, survived the dramas of Dundee to defend his title there. And after 2 regattas this year, he's ahead of Laurie Smith on Frontiera, but only just. In 3rd place, it's Team Hoyer. 4th, Team Mobile, Deborah 5th, Mike McIntyre 6th. From Portsmouth and Dundee, the series moved to Cowes on the Isle of Wight, home to the UK Sailing Academy. In contrast to Scotland, the crews experienced light conditions, which built to a moderate 10 to 18 knots during the regatta. With only 2 rounds to go, the 9-man crews were pushing hard for honours. Laurie Smith's Frontiera recovered from the early season below par performances to win 5 out of the 6 races. Team Hoyer saw Olympic silver medalist John Merricks at the helm. His 470 crew, Ian Walker, was employed on the main sheet. Hoyer finished 3rd overall. Russell Peters suffered his worst weekend so far. He retained his #1 spot overall, but his championship lead was cut to a single point. Deborah competed well on day 2, prominent at the front of the fleet, finishing 2nd and 3rd and benefiting from a regular and more capable crew this season. Mike McIntyre suffered a ripped mainsail in the final race and didn't finish. Having had problems in Dundee and suffered from lack of sponsorship, it's not his season. And race 6 saw DBS nearly capsize at the final mark. Laurie Smith and his Frontiera crew took every opportunity at Cowes to boost their chances of regaining the title lost to DBS last year after a 5-year supremacy. Guernsey, the final venue for the 1996 Vauxhall Ultra 30 series. It's the first time the Ultras have competed off the Channel Islands at the capital St. Peter Port, there as part of the Guernsey Regatta. It was an eventful first day. Laurie Smith, with every intention of re-establishing his dominance, put in a flawless performance, though, to take 2 straight wins in perfect conditions. DBS had 2 second places. Eddie Warden-Owen's team Hoyer finished the day 3rd despite problems. Warden-Owen is back after breaking his ankle in a sailing accident.
Well, 3 months off. We were a bit rusty. I was a bit rusty. The boys did a great job, you know. And I had John Merricks doing the tactics, and he's obviously on form and sharp. And we had a little problem with the tiller extension, which caused us a capsize at the end. Well, I'm going to blame the tiller extension anyway. But yeah, the ankle stood up and it was okay.
Well, now the course is about half a mile long. The Ultras start at the gate in the middle, head upwind to the top mark, loop around and sail downwind through the gate and around the bottom or leeward mark before coming back to the start again. The course is set close enough to the shore for the spectators to enjoy the thrills and spills of these unstable boats. Frontiera still have the advantage as we join highlights of the 4th race in Guernsey. Malcolm McCaig is the commentator.
10 seconds to go to the start. Peter Newlands in Team Mobile with #1 on the sail is at the windward end. Laurie Smith came in early from windward, had to go down to the leeward end of the line with Russell Peters and DBS. They were both fractionally early, had to slow down as they came to the line. It's really a rather ragged start for the Ultra 30s, this one. But Peter Newlands well away in Team Mobile. Russell Peters still not powered up in DBS, and he's jammed out to the left of Laurie Smith. He has to wait until Smith tacks. Now they both go. That's Smith just in front of him. These two over to the left of the fleet. The camera angle foreshortening things for us there. Smith really has quite a good lead over Russell Peters now. It's a mooring buoy on the course. The little pink boys are lobster pot marker buoys. The track really littered with obstacles here at Guernsey. Peters going high, trying for speed. Smith is really a bit high on the mark as they come into it, and Smith is taking a big risk. He's on port tack as he tacks in front of the boats coming in from the right. Newlands waving the protest flag, feels that Smith tacked in front of him too close. Aboard now with Mike McIntyre on orbital. McIntyre yelling to his crew to hold on the Jenniker hoist. He doesn't want the power of the Jenniker on yet until he extricates from this melee. Smith well away, but still Newlands' protest to be decided. Russell Peters round in 5th place in DBS. Still waiting for the umpire's call on Smith. Was that a foul or not at the windward mark? And there's our answer. Down comes the Jenniker on Smith's boat. He goes into a 360 penalty turn, signalled by the umpires for fouling Pete Newlands in Team Mobile as he tacked for the windward mark. And that hands the lead to Newlands as they head for the gate.
Jeremy, I need you here. Forget that.
Meanwhile, there was growing tension on board DBS as the new spinnaker went into the water.
Come on, you had hours to get that in. Hours and hours.
Precious seconds were lost, but up ahead, Pete Newlands, a previous winner of the Admiral's Cup, was having a great race on Team Mobile. He led the fleet from the start. Not such fun for Eddie Warden-Owen. Hoya suffered their second capsize of the day as gusts built to 30 knots. We rejoin Malcolm McCaig.
Newlands coming across on port tack. He's got to give way to Peters, who's coming in from the right on starboard. Lots of yelling from Peters' boat.
Flag him.
He wants to protest. He thinks that Newlands didn't keep out of his way.
Don't flag.
He's called off the protest. Why? And that's why Pete Newlands realised that he's fouled against Russell Peters. He's gone off to do his penalty turn without even being signalled by the umpires. Well, 7 years racing ultras without winning a race, and it looks as he goes into his turn that he isn't going to win this one either. Really an unforced error by Pete Newlands costs him the race and effectively hands it to Russell Peters in DBS. Round the windward mark for the last time. Newlands coming back in, and he's even lost 2nd place out of that. Lets Laurie Smith across in front of him into 2nd place in Frontera as Russell Peters goes down towards the finishing gate. Followed by Smith round the mark. Newlands will now be 3rd. And what a disappointment for Peter Newlands. He led that race almost from start to finish. But you really have to lead at the finish to win. Russell Peters is so relaxed he hasn't even set his Jenniker as he comes down towards the gate. Going to win this race and keep his championship hopes alive.
Well done, boys. It's better.
Well pleased with his crew and every right to be so. And Pete Newlands, although disappointed, is still in with a chance for 3rd in the championship, fighting it out with Eddie Warden-Owen in Hoya, and that's Warden-Owen getting Hoya back on her feet as Laurie Smith comes in to take 2nd.
But bad news for Mike McIntyre. He experienced further setbacks in the final race on Saturday. Whilst trying to recover from this capsize, the mast snapped in half as his Ultra was being brought upright, the weight of the water on the vast sail causing the mast to break. McIntyre, with a sailing pedigree second to none, was not a happy skipper. The 1988 Olympic gold medalist, who's done so well with the British Olympic sailing team in Savannah, was experiencing a real upset. No spare mast and no more racing was possible for the weekend. It really was a sad end to the Ultra 30 series for McIntyre and his crew to end up as spectators.
Got the big adjustable there.
DBS were also in deep water in the final race on Saturday. 5 of the boats had capsized, but for Russell Peters, it was an unfamiliar situation, and it showed during the recovery.
We're not used to capsizing, so we don't practice getting the thing upright again. And perhaps we should go and do a bit more, because it took us far too long to get it upright. And the race was over by then. But we've snatched a 3rd out of it. It's 4 points. It's not that much. We've got to beat them in all 3 races and get one place in between us in one race, one boat in between us in one race, which is well achievable.
Russell still keeps getting seconds most of the time, and you know, it's nice that we've got a few points on him at this stage, but still 3 races to go tomorrow, and anything can happen.
And we'll have further coverage of the yachting following our next race here at Ascot. Well, the first race is already finished. It wasn't a win for Frankie Dettori. He couldn't make it number 8, but there's no doubt that he is the star here today. So many people coming through the gates to cheer him on. But let's reflect a little more on that amazing achievement of yesterday. Jonathan Powell went out to gauge the reaction of the crowd here today. Rollison and Malcolm McCaig.
Gunfire. Beautiful start by Russell Peters. Roger Yeoman coming in late at the windward end. Smith has had to take 2 sterns to go down, slot in underneath Hoya, come off the line, halfway down the line, but Russell Peters blasting away in the windward position. That's Smith in the black boat. That's Team Mobile just outside him. Eddie Warden known in Hoya. In no man's land, getting everybody's dirty air. Laurie Smith, the meat in the sandwich. He has no tactical options here other than to sail fast. He has Team Mobile down to leeward, squeezing up on him, giving him no room. Meanwhile, he has Russell Peters in DBS up to windward, powering across him. But for Pete Newlands down to leeward here on Team Mobile, there are also no tactical options. He has to wait until all the others tack across to the mark before he can turn. He's so close. And the 3 of them go in unison. GBS, Frontera, Team Mobile, Roger Yeoman in the blue boat, Deborah comes in on starboard tack with Eddie Warden Owen underneath him. This is going to be very close at the mark.
Slow it down a bit.
Russell Peters actually has to pick his moment to tack in front of Roger Yeoman. At the same time trying to block off Laurie Smith. Oh, and he just gets round the mark in front, but Smith has nowhere to go. Smith is boxed in by Hoya. Smith will have to tack for Hoya. And now yelling as he forces Pete Newlands to tack. And there's a protest from Smith's boat. They think that Pete Newlands will have balked him. That's one for the umpires to decide. Meanwhile, Yeoman and Russell Peters away already, first and second. Smith badly stuck with the red Jenniker. He's in 5th place, meanwhile, with the blue Jenniker just setting. Russell Peters in 1st place. Team Mobile with a little knot in her. She gets it shaken out just to the right of Peters. Smith jibes. We're still waiting for that umpire's decision on his protest at the mark against Team Mobile. And Neil MacDonald tells us a green flag, the whistle, and the green flag means no penalty against Mobile. But, oh, Peter Newlands imposing his own penalty. He's dropped the boat in the water. Oh, what a gift to Smith. Well, natural justice is served, will say Laurie Smith. And aboard with Russell Peters. Pushing on. Peters now over to the right of the other 3 and stuck a bit, whereas these 3 are in a real line of wind. Andrew Priest, number 8, Smith's tactician, shows us. Look at the line of wind those 3 leading boats have got. Peters over to the right of the course with the blue Jenniker. Has slowed, but not so Roger Yeoman in Deborah. Simon Corner goes up to grab the Jenniker guy, bring the sail down as he comes down to round the leeward mark in the lead. Now Peters with the blue Jenniker has to take 2 sterns as he goes across, going out to the left, going to take the mark wide. They do a Kiwi drop, bring the sail down, but he's going to be crowded with Frontera and the other 2 inside him. He's got to leave room for Laurie Smith as they come in. There's a lot of yelling from Smith's boat. They all know the rights here. Peters has to give room to Frontera as she comes round the mark, but he really has caught up. Indeed, he's outside him now. Game on between Russell Peters and Laurie Smith for the championship. Roger Yeoman still leading the race. Comes across from the left of the course. They're well out to the left. They're all going to have to tack to come in through the gate. Yeoman leads in. Simon Corner doing a bit of sorting in, just leaning in off the rack. Eddie Warden Owen tacks into 2nd place. Peters is in 4th. Laurie Smith is in 3rd. Laurie Smith has the championship from this point. And Pete Newlands still struggling to get Team Mobile back on her feet. He's out of the race and out of the championship by now. Roger Yeoman leads the line into the gate. The crew fully out on the racks. The boat hard right up. A good working racing breeze. Smith comes in lots of speed. He's overstood slightly. They're reaching in through the gate. They must pass this gate on the windward leg as they go up. Neil MacDonald with the blonde hair, giving it heaps on the main sheet, sheeting on again, and DBS has overstood the gate as well. Coming in, Castle Cornet in the background, dramatic skyline in Guernsey. Beautiful conditions for this final weekend of ultra racing. Russell Peters concentrating hard, rolling the boat beautifully into attack. It looks as if they're going to capsize there, but it's all done quite deliberately. They roll the boat over as they turn her to get that rig leaning down, and then when they pull the boat upright, that fills the sails with wind, squirts the boat out of the tack. Eddie Warden-Owen crossing DBS. Meanwhile, Yeoman at the top mark, bears away. Maybe out of contention for the championship, but he still wants to win this race. Russell Peters comes in, still tacking for the mark. That's it, just ahead of them. Laurie Smith crosses ahead, still blocking out Russell Peters from the championship. Zeb Elliott, number 2 in his vest, goes to the mast with a Jenniker halyard as Sasha Nice booms out that long toothpick of a bowsprit. The jibe set from Smith. Eddie Warden-Owen has got between Smith and Russell Peters in DBS. Now, Peters said he wanted a boat between him and Smith. I don't think, though, that he meant it this way around. That makes Laurie Smith's position even more secure, but there's still a long way to go in this yacht race. Oh! Well, his moment of glory didn't last long. That's Hoya. That's Eddie Warden-Owen has capsized on the jibe, and they've got the Jenniker wrapped around the plate. Well, I think they're out of it. Laurie Smith will be sorry to see that, because he was very comfortable with that boat between him and DBS, although he's still in front. And it's all happening here today. Now Smith is in trouble, and not in the Jenniker on Frontera. This is a big chance for Russell Peters coming inside him. He's going into a jibe to try and get past him. Meanwhile, Smith cannot get the Jenniker drawing. Peters jibes and he's gone, and Smith is having to lower his Jenniker. And is Russell Peters going? Just the moment to get a draft of air. 22, 23 knots out of the Ultra 30 now. He's a well away as he goes through the gate. Smith has the Jenniker in the boat, really slow. 2 people working in the bow of the boat. Look how slowly Frontera's going. Meanwhile, Peter Newlands at last has Team Mobile back on her feet, but he's almost a lap behind the leaders. Round the leeward mark, hardening on to set off in pursuit. Now Smith at last has got the Jenniker back up on Frontera, but Russell Peters is well away. Roger Yeoman, of course, still in front in this race in the blue boat in Deborah. Russell Peters in second now in DBS coming up. He's really closed the gap on Deborah, and at the same time opened it on Laurie Smith. Now here's a chance for Peters. Bear in mind he's got to get one boat between him and Smith to win this championship. Smith still coming into the leeward mark. The 2 leaders halfway up the beat. Sasha Nice and Zeb Elliott hauling down that big Jenniker. Yards and yards of wet nylon round your wrists and over your arms. It's a really tiring job. I've tried it. Happy to leave it to them. Roger Yeoman really enjoying his moment, leading this fleet now. But where is Russell Peters? That's what we want to know, because Peters is chasing him hard, and there he is, out to the left and down to leeward of Yeoman. Tactical conference going on now aboard DBS between Russell Peters and Jeremy Robinson next up on the rack, and his tactician. They really work well together, this pair. There's Laurie, and there's trouble on Laurie Smith's boat. More trouble. 2 people working in the bow of the boat. The headsail's falling down. It's flapping. See how wrinkled it's got on the forestay? A 3rd person goes down to join them. Well, they're not having a good day on Frontera. Something seriously wrong. 2 people at the base of the mast. And Russell Peters has closed right up on Roger Yeoman in Deborah as they go through the gate. Will he be able to catch him by the time they get to the windward mark? Back aboard Frontera. Oh, someone's going up the mast. Sasha Nice going up the mast. Well, that's pretty unusual on an Ultra 30. Look at that headsail flapping away. Half climbing, half being hauled up by the spare Jenniker halyard. He'd something in his teeth as well. Well, there's clearly something wrong with the headsail halyard on Laurie Smith's boat as Russell Peters chases Roger Yeoman. Sasha's almost up to the spreaders now. That's where the halyard comes out of the mast. He has to climb this last little bit, hand over hand, see his shadow on the back of the sail. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew trying to keep the boat going as best they can. Roger Yeoman tacking for the windward mark. That's Team Mobil. Bear in mind, she's a lap behind them now. Yeoman is in the lead as they go round the windward mark, head off, down the breeze again.
I don't think he'll go with him up the mast, will he?
And still aboard DBS, that continuing debate.
I converted into a jibe set.
Russell Peters still making up his mind what he's going to do as he goes around the mark. Well, these crews really have to be prepared for anything.
Nothing. Protesting!
Now what's he shouting about? And don't worry, he says, and quite right too. There's no protest there because coming downwind, of course, Russell Peters has to keep clear of Laurie Smith as he comes up to the mark. They finally seem to have got some power out of that headsail now. But Sasha Nice is still up at the top of the mast. Down he comes. His weight taken by the Jennifer. Oh, I hope he hasn't fallen. No. I thought he had fallen for a minute, but his weight is taken by the other crew members and the Jennifer halyard as they still race the boat, still tack, everything going on, whether or not he's up the mast. Good crew work from Smith's boat, but look at Peters with a charge on, coming right up on Deborah. They really can get this ultra going when they get it right going downwind. This is another 22-knot burst. Yet everything looks beautifully relaxed on board. But they're right up alongside Yeoman and Deborah, although he's sailing a higher angle. They're a hotter angle, so he's slanting across the wind more. That means he's covering more distance, but he's going faster. Meanwhile, Yeoman is sailing the more direct route to the mark. There it is, right in front of them. Peters chives early for the mark. Deborah crosses ahead. Is he going to be able to close the gap anymore as they come into the mark? Team Mobil's at the mark already. Bear in mind, she's the back marker. These two are going to lap her. And Peters is holding onto the Jennifer to the last minute now. If he can get an overlap here, if he can stick that long toothpick of a bowsprit inside Deborah's transom line, he has the rights at the mark and will get the inside turn. But no, Yeoman turns early. And now Peters will pay the price of holding onto the Jennifer for so long. It'll be a slow turn as they still struggle the sail down as they come round the mark. Doesn't matter that they've hit it. That rule doesn't apply in Ultra 30 racing with those great big racks. They're allowed to touch the marks without penalty. This is now the last windward leg, the last chance for Russell Peters to get past Roger Yeoman and get that vital boat between him and Laurie Smith to take the Ultra 30 Championship for 1996. It's all down to who can read the wind shifts best. Remember that for the racing sailor, the wind never blows steady for more than, 2 minutes at a time. It shifts by just a few degrees, alters the angle that they can point at the mark, and that's what gets them past. Meanwhile, aboard Frontera, Smith still coming into the mark. A big gap between him and the two race leaders. There doesn't seem to be a lot that he can do to decide this championship. It's really all about what happens in front of him. And each of these two skippers backing their own judgment, going to opposite sides of the course. Oh, a little bit of trouble on Deborah. Got the spinnaker line tied around the front of the boat. They need to clear that before they start downwind again to come down towards the finish. Now we have Deborah right on the left of the picture. Russell Peters right over on the right. That's Team Mobil in the middle. She's out of it. Laurie Smith comes into the leeward mark. Must be wondering what he can draw on now to pull this championship out of the bag. He's got very few options left. DBS comes in from the left of the course. Yeoman has just tacked over to the right. Once again, Team Mobil not in this race, save as traffic that the two have to get past. Now who's going to be in front as they cross? Oh, and Russell Peters decides not to force the issue. Had he come along and crossed Roger Yeoman here in Deborah, he would have closed off all his tactical options. The game's still open for Russell Peters. Oh, and Deborah's hooked up on a lobster pot. They're towing a lobster pot by the rudder, really slowing down. A crewman goes down to try and clear it. He's got a knife. He's cut it. Well, I hope the lobster pot owner isn't watching. But that has really slowed Roger Yeoman and Deborah down. A big chance for Russell Peters. Coming up to the gate, Team Mobil down to the left of him. But look how much Yeoman has had to slow because of that lobster pot he's got going again. Aboard with Pete Newlands on Team Mobil. And he's not interfering with the championship race. He has to go round astern of Yeoman and Deborah. Peters is being able to squeeze right up in front of Yeoman now. The exhaust from his sails, that's the wind as it comes off his sails, now blowing back onto Yeoman's sails, slowing his boat down and also preventing him sailing quite so close to the wind. Russell Peters must be now dead ahead of Roger Yeoman.
Water on me, spectators!
He's calling for room to tack at the obstruction for the spectator boats. He's allowed to do that. You can't sail your opponent into the wall. And Yeoman crosses behind him. Russell Peters has got in front. He's got the boat he needs between himself and Laurie Smith. He's now in a championship winning position. And they're on the ley line now, coming into the windward mark. He won't have to tack again. Yeoman again slowed by being dead astern of Russell Peters. Only one more marked around and then the short downwind dash to the finish, and Russell Peters has the championship for the second time.
Back bear away.
Calls for a bear away set as they go round.
Bear away, Jerry Hill.
Tension building aboard DBS, the championship almost in their grasp, and they know it. Deborah comes round. There's not a lot that Roger Yeoman can do to get past, although that's not a quick set on DBS, so it's not quite all over yet. Now, Smith is coming in. He's tacking right in front of Peters. That's Peters with the blue Jenniker. Oh, what a gamesmanship move by Laurie Smith. Forces Russell Peters to get round his stern. Lots of yelling going on from Smith's boat. And this is a chance for Yeoman. Beautiful set from Yeoman's boat. He's on a roll. He's got a gust. He's going past him. And Smith knows that he's given Yeoman the race and himself the championship. Russell Peters can't believe what's happened. Roger Yeoman can. He's won the race. He doesn't really care about the championship. The body language on Peters' boat. Jeremy Robinson really lets his frustration show, head in hands. The championship won and lost in 100 yards. And that's the man who stole it from him, and here's how he did it. Let's look at it again. Peters is in the lead, then Smith quite deliberately tacks in front of him, and Peters, under the rules, has to slow down and go round him. Both yachts on the same tack. The windward boat must keep clear. Roger Yeoman blasts through to victory.
Well, it meant everything to Smith and his crew to win this series. A brilliant tactical move to finish, making certain of the points. Without that emergency repair by Sasha Nice, it could have been a very different story.
We had the jib alley on extra tight this time because the zip broke in the race before. So stopped the zip break and we kept it tighter, and it just broke the block at the top. So I sort of went up the top and tied it up the best I could. Came down a bit fast, but that's all right.
And let's not forget a superb victory for Roger Yeoman on Deborah. He'd been threatening all weekend, but was almost caught out by the lobster pot.
I think we got around the first mark second, caught a lucky gust down the first run and got into first. Unfortunately, caught a lobster pot on the very last beat, which let DBS through. Now, DBS obviously needed us between him and Laurie. So we went around the last mark and we jibe set, so jibed straight around the mark and set. And the spinnaker just popped clear. And off we went on our own private gust. So it was a fabulous result for us and a great way to finish the year.
The guy beating has got right of way as long as he's on the same tack as the boat running. So you're trying to, he can avoid you, but he's got to go really slow, deciding which way you're going to go. And obviously we slowed him down enough, and Roger got a good gust at the end. So we're glad we won, but we didn't really want to do it that way. But win's a win.
Well, I thought we sailed pretty well, and perhaps we haven't. I don't like using the word luck, but I don't think we've had much of it this weekend. But all credit to Laurie and his boys. They've done very well. And it's been a pretty close season again.
An absolute nail-biter, and the overall result of the 1996 Ultra 30 Series gives Frontier a victory after 4 regattas. Peter's bitterly disappointed. However, Eddie Warden-Owen will be pleased with his move from 5th last season to 3rd. Team Mobil is 4th, Deborah 5th, Mike McIntyre 6th. Certainly skillful, maybe a touch lucky, but the determination of Laurie Smith has once again seen him skipper Frontier through a tremendously exciting season for the perfect result.
An exciting finish